Here we are, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. Space, the final frontier. I am Captain Frank Lee English, and these are the voyages of the starship HMSS Imperialize. Our mission? To explore strange new worlds, to seek out new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Rousing stuff, Captain English, sir.
You really think so? I was afraid it would sound a little bit cliched. The last thing I'd want would be for anyone listening to think that was going to be representative of the quality of all our dialogue throughout this entire voyage.
Perhaps it's best not to heighten expectations too early on, boyo.
Yes, Jones. A healthy dose of self-deprecation should neutralize the mildly xenophobic nature of the mission we've been tasked with by Her Majesty, Queen of Great Britain and of the Commonwealth Realms.
Yeah, so long as we can avoid resorting to trite nationalistic jokes, we should be fine.
Yes, I absolutely agree, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. Well, I'm past. Who's for tea? Jones, as your commanding officer, I'm ordering you to go make me a cup of tea. 2 sugars. And go easy on the milk. I'll need it for my Weetabix in the morning.
I don't think they provided us with milk, boyo. Just the powdered stuff.
Curse this lack of lactation! Very well. You stay here at the controls, Jones, while I navigate to the ship's kitchen facilities to acquire a refreshing beverage. The walk will give me the chance to familiarize myself with the intuitive navigation system.
Can you grab us a cup too?
I feel compelled to say an authoritative yet non-committal perhaps in this circumstance, Jones. It would be an appropriate reason to practice using the inventory system, yet I fear that such a magnanimous gesture may erode the command hierarchy aboard this vessel. I'll be on my way now, just as soon as I choose to exit this chair. Sub-Lieutenant Jones!
Aye, boyo?
How do you take your tea? Milk? Sugar? Lukewarm?
Just in a cup would be lovely, thanks.
Can I get you anything else from the kitchen? A biscuit, perhaps?
Oh, I'd love a biscuit. Bring us back a Jaffa cake.
Jaffa cakes aren't biscuits. They're cakes.
How can they be cakes? Look at all the size of them.
Weren't you taught that size isn't important?
It's never been an issue for me, boyo.
Me neither. So how's the family back in old Blighty? Been keeping up with the Joneses?
Mum and Dad are fine, and Harriet's getting ready to go to uni in Swansea.
Fantastic! What's she studying?
3D computer animation.
Oh! Well, that's a degree, I guess. Don't mind me. I appear to have activated some sort of context-sensitive menu. I should select the appropriate option, illustrated by these exquisite icons. The humble tray table. Best stow this for now. I would do well to study these closely in case of an emergency, like we're stranded immobile in space. I'll have to take a closer look at these safety instructions for peace of puzzle. I mean, mind. Peace of mind. I would do well to study these close. I'll have to take a closer look at these safety instructions for peace of puzzle. I mean, mind. Peace of mind. I would do well to study these closely in case of an emergency, like we're stranded immobile in space. Why, the humble paperclip, a staple of any adventure gamer's inventory. No doubt you'll soon be broken and forced into a situation you'll find uncomfortable. The story of many a man. The paperclip, the adventure gamer's staple. Why, the humble paperclip, a staple of any adventure gamer's inventory. That leads out of the cockpit. Now, to find the kitchen. If memory serves me correct, it's just down this corridor, beyond the fourth wall. That's the gravity simulation switch. The animator's rather we leave it on. Less things to move. It's an informative map displaying the many high-definition areas aboard Her Majesty's spaceship Imperial Eyes. It's a map of the ship. Lest we forget where everything is 7 months into the mission. Now, let's see. It's a map of the ship. When the solar radiation inevitably turns our parietal lobes to puddles of grey gelatinous goo. It's a map of the ship, should we happen to forget where the kitchen is. It's an informative map displaying the many high-definition areas aboard Her Majesty's spaceship Imperial Eyes. That leads into the bedroom.
Aren't you supposed to be going to the kitchen, boyo? You won't find anything fit for human consumption in there.
That leads out of the sitting room. It's a standard-issue second-hand treadmill, complete with squeaky belt, broken headphone jack, and the thin coating of a stranger's sweat. It's just like exercising at the gym, albeit without the judgment of others. We were encouraged to exercise to counteract the negative effect space travel traditionally has on astronauts. I don't understand why. It's exhausting, the amount of walking about I've been doing up here. It's a standard-issue second-hand treadmill. Best stop before I start to lose my gains, brah. Of course, it lacks the precision of a mouse and keyboard. Greatly improves one's cognitive functions. Don't take my word for it. Ask science. Of course, it lacks the precision of a mouse and keyboard. Greatly improves one's cognitive functions. Don't take my word for it. Ask science. The upholstery is made from genuine organic polyester. Why stand when you can sit? Why try figuring something out when you can just read the wiki? The upholstery is made from genuine organic... Presumably the manufacturer opted for shards of metal as opposed to goose down. This computer is full of secret data. We keep the intel inside. Cutting-edge 20th century tech. There appears to be something stuck in the drive. Cutting-edge 20th century... Gosh, no matter how many times I keep clicking on things, this drive won't become unblocked. I'll have... Let's see if prodding this around fixes anything. Aha! 1.44 megabytes of virgin digital space. 3.5 inches. It's compact, but still large enough to grip. 1.44 megabytes. 3.5 inches. It's compact, but still large enough to grip. It's Alad's mug, isn't it? It's for my Rosie Lee. Sorry, Cockney crockery. Cup of cha. It's an inconspicuous economy toaster. Made in China, along with what you're holding right now. Toasts a slice of bread in the time it takes to boil an egg. Which I am feeling rather peckish. Ah!
你個死英國佬，我鎖開你隻手咯喎。
That settled it. I'm going gluten-free when I get back to Old Blighty. Mild Green Washing Up Liquid. It's a popular household brand of washing up liquid. Smells better than it tastes from experience. Doubles up as a scented lubricant, which is handy. It's a fridge. As any reassuring mother would tell her unsightly, acne-ridden teenage son, it's what's on the inside that really counts. It's a fridge. Why, it's packed to the rafters with mild English cheddar. There's a seemingly unlimited supply of mild English cheddar cheese. It's a bit nauseating, actually. Like looking at the specimen collection at a genito-urinary clinic. Why, it's packed to the rafters with plenty to share. There's a seemingly unlimited supply of mild English cheddar cheese. That's the radio wave oven. It's the same idea as a conventional microwave oven, except while your meal is cooking, you can listen to the cricket on Radio 5. AM, FM, defrost, it's got the works. It's our autonomous beverage dispensing robot, Gertie. One day it became self-aware. The next it was writing the script for an adventure game. It's our autonomous beverage dispensing robot, Gertie. What are your prime directives? I don't suppose you've kept in touch with Matilda or any of the other house robots? Ha! Remember that time you fell foul to a case of mistaken identity at Mos Eisley? I'll just get piping hot tea all over my hands, and I didn't enjoy that the first time. It really takes the misery out of making tea. Of course, the downside of having a sentient being responsible for making the tea is that every so often it forgets how much milk to add. As any reassuring mother would tell her unsightly, acne-ridden teenage son, it's what's on the inside that really counts. Of course, in England, they'd call it a Hoover. Surely you can't be serious. That leads into the sitting room.
This is no time to be taking a nap, but...
Any danger of making that tea, boyo?
Sub-Lieutenant Jones!
Aye, boyo?
Don't mind me. Awfully sorry for the delay.
Never mind, boyo. How did you manage to carry it in there without spilling any?
Well, I've just been very careful. Ever since that whole Deepwater Horizon incident.
I don't really have anywhere to set this. You won't take over the controls from it until I finish. Wouldn't want to spill anything over these expensive electronics.
Ha, but of course! Why, if such a thing were to happen, we'd have a real puzzle on our hands.
Just go easy. Keep it steady.
Yes. Okay, right.
Opening rear cargo doors.
Oh. Didn't expect that.
Careful, boyo.
Reserve
Keep it
oxygen
steady.
supply.
Okay.
Commencing cabin depressurization.
Yeah, oh, no. Right.
Flight safe mode disabled. Life support systems offline. Primary starboard fuel cell.
Easy,
jettisoned.
boyo.
Daisy.
Give me your answer.
Holy cow! Ah! Look what you've done! I told you to keep it steady.
Good heavens! What a waste of perfectly good tea.
I think we should be more concerned about the irreparable damage done to the ship's steering system. Both problems, by the way, are your fault.
Look, obviously, the controls weren't calibrated to account for my superior strength. They were more sensitive than a pubescent poet. Regardless, we'll have plenty of time to argue about this now that we're stranded. Unless, of course, we can replace the controls with something else.
When you say we...
I mean the royal we. I'll sort this out. Don't move. I don't want you dribbling on anything else. Honestly, you're worse than the elderly. I think he's had enough. For now, anyway. Of course, it lacks the precision of a mouse and keyboard. Here, plug this in. See if it works.
That isn't going to be much use without batteries, boyo.
What? Aren't they included?
And remove a superfluous hurdle present simply to prolong a problem you've long since figured out? Huh. When is that ever the case?
Unfortunately, dairy is one of 3 things Sub-Lieutenant Jones is allergic to. The other 2 being early starts and manual labor. We don't share that kind of relationship. I can't use these 2 together. It appears to be stuck. With great power comes great responsibility. It's a new packet of batteries, full of potential. The packaging claims they're the ideal size for a host of handheld consumer electronics. And as we all know, packaging seldom lies. With great power comes great responsibility. It's a new packet of batteries, full of potential. Remarkable. It would appear one of our Oxbridge-educated engineers has installed hinges on both sides of this door. How is that even possible? Remarkable. It would appear one of our Oxbridge-educated engineers has installed hinges on both sides of this door. How is that even possible? No flagship worth its salt would be without a draconian list of rules to adhere to. It says no eating, no slurping, no rustling, and hello to Jason Isaacs. Did I mention I have a book out? It specifically says no rustling. Mercifully, the ultra-absorbent litter goes somewhere to mask the odour. Somewhere. Not all the way. It might fit Allard's dainty hand. I've a bit more girth. MJ borrowed the pair to clean some blood on the dance floor. Only returned the one. He always was bad like that. It might fit Allard's dainty hand. MJ borrowed the pair to clean some blood on the dance floor. Only returned the one. He always was bad like that. That leads into the sitting room. Gosh, really helps you to see things in perspective. These gags have scope for improvement. Gosh, really helps you to see things in perspective. Now, what do we have here? Ah! Good Lord. The packaging claims they're the ideal size for a host of handheld consumer electronics. And as we all know, packaging seldom lies. Greatly improves one's cognitive functions. Don't take my word for it. Ask science.
Have you found something to replace the controls you broke yet?
Here, plug this in. See if it works.
No joy, boyo.
What? Isn't it supposed to be plug and play?
No, boyo. You'll have to install the drivers first.
Well, can't you just download them in here?
The Wi-Fi can't reach this part of the ship. Try getting online in one of the other rooms. See if you can download the drivers onto something and bring it here.
I suppose you'll just be sitting here in the meantime.
That's how the genre works, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it is broke, well, it's probably a tedious puzzle to fix it.
I'm afraid I've nothing useful to hand. Now, to download this driver. I just need to connect to the internet first. Bingo! Found it! Very odd. It won't let me save onto the disk. I can't seem to save onto it for some reason. I can't seem to save onto it for some reason. We're a tad under-resourced to be attempting that at the moment. Fantastic! Now to quickly copy this driver. Whoa! Oh, sorry. Oh, gosh, is that the time? It'll be starting to get dark outside. Best check up on Allard and see if he's dried off. It's remarkable how much information can be stored on something so compact. If I do that, I'll have to go on a course. I like the chap, but not in that way. Sub-Lieutenant Jones! Sub-Lieutenant Jones! Allard! Wake up! Wake up, Allard! Oh, this is useless. He'll be out for hours unless I can think of another way to wake him up. It's for my Rosie Lee. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Remarkably, Sub-Lieutenant Jones has found another way to be less cooperative. It really takes the misery out of making tea. I don't believe the isolation of space has forced me to talk to the furniture just yet.
What's going on? What are you playing at, boyo?
I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. It felt like someone else was in control of my inhibitions.
Just give me the driver so we can GTFO.
GTFO?
Get things functioning and online. You need to swat up in your acronyms. FFS. For future scenarios.
That sort of stuff isn't tolerated in the workplace. Sub-Lieutenant Jones!
Aye, boyo?
Would you like me to go find you a towel to dry off?
No rush, boyo. I'm enjoying this warm, moist sensation. Reminds me of simpler times huddled in my mother's womb.
Gosh, I can hardly remember what I was doing 5 minutes ago, let alone during my embryonic youth.
Well, it was a lot longer ago for you, boyo.
Hey, I'm still down with the kids. Chillax Holmes. Me and my crew keeping it radical, man.
OMG, feel totes orky for you.
Surely it would take more than a splash of Earl Grey to halt this ship. The zenith of British aeronautical engineering.
You could always give the control column a quick alternating input along the x-axis, just to ascertain if it is indeed no longer functional.
You mean jiggle the joystick left and right?
Isn't that what I said?
Your sister's studying in Swansea. Been down recently?
Not to visit her. A few of us went camping around the Gower, though. It's lovely the further out of the city you go.
Yes. The further the better. Don't mind me. Here, install this, and we should be underway again.
You could have used my USB pen, you know.
What? Is that another one of your acronyms I'm supposed to know?
What? Universal Serial Bus?
Ha! Serial bus. I know you're just making that one up.
Well, boyo, I've got some good news and some bad news. Which one do you want first?
Give me the grim, demoralizing reality first, then ensure I quickly forget its severity with a light-hearted human interest tale, preferably involving a cat and a musical instrument.
Alright, boyo. Well, the bad news is that before this driver will work, one of us is going to have to descend into the dark depths of the ship to perform the emergency systems reset procedure.
You mean turn everything off and on again?
Yes, but the good news is it's a one-person job, so only one of us will have to do it.
Presumably I'll be the one doing the legwork, as usual.
Well, if you want, we could make it seem like you had a choice in the matter. Here, we'll flip for it. Heads or tails?
Tails never fails.
It's heads.
Blast! I can't help but feel that somehow that was always going to happen.
What fates impose that men must needs abide, it boots not to resist both wind and tide.
Gosh, the writing on this voyage just stepped up a level. That was borderline Shakespeare.
Aye, borderline.
Right, I'm off. In a bygone era, we could have just stuffed a child down there to sort this out. That's why we voted out of the EU. To get back to the good old days. In a bygone era, we could have just stuffed a child down there to sort this out. I haven't been up here long, and already I think I've started to lose muscle density. On a more positive note, it would appear my bone density has remained unaffected. It's just like exercising at the gym, albeit without the judgment of others. If you want a job done around here, you've got to do it yourself. It's an informative map displaying the many high-definition areas aboard. Now, let's see. That leads into the airlock. That leads into the airlock. Genuine British compressed air. Contains almost as much bluster as a trade unionist. Genuine British compressed. I appear to be caught short. I've nothing to use. I'm sure this'll come in. Wait for it. Handy, eh? Yes. MJ borrowed the pair to clean some blood on the dance floor. Only returned the one. He always was bad like that. I've always thought it was a big risk having an airlock. I'm not sure the insurance would cover us if we were burgled. I don't feel suitably dressed to be heading out. That leads into the laboratory. If you could bottle it, you'd make a fortune. It's a long voyage, so we have to recycle urine into drinking water. Well, more specifically, we recycle urine into Sub-Lieutenant Jones' drinking water. Property of Irvin Schrödinger. Very odd. It appears to be addressed to two different locations. An orphanage and a crematorium. Property... The box is sealed shut. Why, it would be impossible to determine the fate of any biological life form inside. It doesn't strike me as much of a talker. How very retro. It isn't great for the environment. Replacement ribbons are a real biohazard. It has a warmth that you simply don't get with digital. Gosh! It's full of the blighters. It doesn't appear to be working. It's part of the laboratory equipment the biologist we were supposed to have on board brought. I'm not sure what happened to him. No one's seen him for weeks. Not to worry, I'm sure he'll turn up. That switch activates the self-destruct sequence. Guess not. We made that mistake once before. It's a box used to store tools. It's a precision-engineered German motorized screwdriver. Ah! Voila! That should significantly reduce the risk of death by electrocution. Always a comforting reassurance. That looks like the emergency stop switch. This should do the trick. No, that's... yes, right. Oops! proved me ever so clumsy. Ah well, no harm done. Let's check back with Allard and see if that's sorted everything. Down here is starting to give me the creeps. I'm afraid I've nothing useful to hand. I see Allard's activated the autopilot and skived off. I'm sorry, I don't believe we've met. I'm Frank, but please, call me Captain English.
Welcome.
Captain English.
How may I be of assistance?
So, how's everything going? Are we on track to be finished by tea?
ETA to waypoint, Tango Echo Alpha, calculating. Calculating. Cannot define. Please refer to string length idiom for more details.
So, how long have you been an autopilot?
Calculating. Calculating. Error. You do not have permission to access this data.
I don't suppose there's a Mr. Autopilot, perchance?
Compiler error. Incompatible types. Access denied.
I think I'll log off.
It is now safe to be removed.
Call me old-fashioned, but I prefer the more natural look. I see the autopilot's working, unlike Sub-Lieutenant Jones. It's Wales' own son, Sub-Lieutenant Jones!
Aye, boyo?
Who's driving the boat?
Nobody. We're tied. I turned the autopilot on.
She was only installed a week ago and already her standards are slipping. I don't suppose you noticed anything out of the ordinary earlier when I was performing that emergency systems reset procedure. Specifically immediately once the power came back on.
No. Why, should I have?
Well, I don't know. Probably not. Forget I mentioned it. What is it you're tinkering with there, Jones? That isn't our reconnaissance rover you're disassembling, is it?
Well, but, funny story. While you were downstairs attending to that very complicated, laborious task, flicking that switch on and off, I've been running a variety of pre-mission calibration tests on the Beagle 2-2.
I presume that's why the floor's covered with bits of toy Hot Wheels track.
Firstly, the fact that this modular vehicular pathway simulation system happens to be mass-produced and branded as a children's toy is irrelevant. And secondly, yes.
That's all well and good, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. However, if I recall correctly, we were specifically advised that the Beagle 2-2 tended to function significantly better when its complicated array of electronics and mechanical components were positioned inside its aluminium housing.
Look, I just have to make a few minor repairs. During a centrifugal force resistance simulation, the rover proved exceedingly resistant.
So it flew off the loop bit.
That would be a valid interpretation of events, yes.
Sounds like I'm going to be required to go on some kind of scavenger hunt. What do you need?
To get the rover going again?
For the time being, that's all I feel I'm obligated to offer, yes.
I think the rigorous nature of the, test may have burned out the main motor.
I see. So, I'll have to find something to create some sort of electromagnet that'll revolve when a current is passed through it. I'll have to fashion a pulley system of sorts to drive power to the wheels. Something with a taut elastic band should do the trick, like an alluring undergarment. Now, if I was to remove the elastic...
Alternatively, but you could just always grab me a spare. We've got a cupboard full of them.
Be sure to put your toys away when you're done. I don't suppose you'd have any use for this premium German motorized screwdriver.
Ah, cheers, Bert.
Sub-Lieutenant Jones! What are you doing?
Relax, Bert.
Relax! Do you have any idea how expensive parts and servicing are for that thing?
Look, I have an idea.
I'm sorry, I presumed that was the motor I could smell burning.
Look, we can replace the motor in the Beagle with the motor in this screwdriver. It's probably more reliable than our own spares anyway.
Great thinking, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. Why? It's intuitive thinking like that won us the war.
Of independence?
No, the other ones.
For the last time...
By Jove, it works!
In 600,000 yards, your destination will be on the right. You've reached your destination.
Sub-Lieutenant Jones, we've arrived! The new world! Quickly, break open a container of property of ER2 flags and prepare a landing party!
As much as I'd love to jump onto the surface and soak up the radioactive atmosphere of this uncharted, most likely fatally hazardous planet, I think it may be an idea to send the Beagle 2-2 down first, just to get a feel for the place.
I considered your suggestion, Sub-Lieutenant Jones, and have made the executive decision to send the Beagle 2-2 down for a quick recce, prior to making our own triumphant descent. The extra time will allow us to properly consider which 19th century member of the aristocracy to name this place after.
Launching probe.
Gosh, I didn't realize we had full damage switched on. Right. Well, we'll have to go down and salvage the rover. It'll look very embarrassing if we lose another one of these. Set us down. Sub-Lieutenant Jones, where have we landed?
We've landed on an uncharted rock structure, somewhere outside the range of what was previously understood to be the limit of human interstellar travel.
I see. So, Sub-Lieutenant Jones, what exactly do we know about this place?
Well, it's an uncharted rock structure, somewhere outside the range of what was previously understood to be the limit of human interstellar travel.
I see. I don't suppose you could enlighten the audience with anything a little more specific?
Look, I'm called Aled Jones, probably the most generic, stereotypical Welsh name in existence. It's clear that whoever's writing this hasn't bothered doing a terrible amount of research. I wouldn't count on anything specific.
How will we go about finding the location of the Beagle 2-2? Presumably we have some kind of app for that.
I'm afraid not. We could download one. Only costs 69p.
69 pence? Not bad when it's free. Right, the plan is we head out, walk around aimlessly, look at a load of stuff eliciting a series of wry remarks, then start clicking everywhere until something happens.
I'll linger in the background and provide a series of hints if you feel things are a little too vexing.
Why break tradition, eh, Sub-Lieutenant Jones? Let's go! If I do that, I'll have to go and... Sub-Lieutenant Jones!
Aye, boyo?
Any idea where we should be looking?
Have you checked by those rocks?
Those rocks? Yes.
Let's try looking by those other rocks, then.
No hand-holding here. An example of how much we respect the intellect of our audience. Don't mind me. It's a rock. This is one of those situations where you're stuck between a rock and, well, more rocks. It isn't really the sort of environment that lends itself to observational comedy. I fear I'm at risk of repeating myself. No doubt filled with epic loot, as they say on the YouTubes.
Cheers, Vert.
It's Wales' own son.
Look, boyo, over there.
Where?
By that rock.
Would it trouble you immensely to use another point of reference, Sub-Lieutenant Jones?
Fine, boyo. By that gorilla.
Good grief! That's the second biggest monkey I've ever seen.
I think he's holding the Beagle 2-2.
Put that down, you damn dirty ape! Come on, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. Let's get after him. I don't believe the isolation of space has forced me to talk to the furniture just yet. It really does look nice. And not too expensive. I like the laurels particularly. No point leaving without a souvenir. I'm not adverse to getting my hands dirty, it's just... green was never my color.
Not so fast, you English mongrels. What do we have here, Pierre? Ah. Ouais, I see. Well, it would appear that you are too late, monsieur.
English. Captain Frank Lee English.
I'd just like to clarify that I'm not actually English. I'm Welsh.
Monsieur English and Monsieur Welsh. It would appear that you have been too late. Mon subordinate Pierre and moi have beaten you and your queen to this rich, fertile, nouveau world.
It's a bit rocky.
Little bit rocky, ouais, a petit landscaping required. But soon, the crown you are defecating with your presence will be the location of my vast winery, growing the sweetest French crepes the world has ever tasted. And everyone will eat crepes, wear berets, carry baguettes, ride bicyclettes, and all the other things we French like to do.
You're insane.
Am I? And how are you going to stop me?
By the power of Grayskull, I have the power!
Oh mon Dieu, I can't believe you actually said that.
We intend to ridicule you into submission, exhausting an extensive list of social stereotypes conceived through years of suspicion and ignorance.
Then what? Are you going to celebrate with a petit crumpet? Eh? Wash down with a cup of tea? Expose your crooked teeth while you laugh regaling this tale with your unsatisfied wives? Ha! Je can play that game, Monsieur English.
I fear you underestimate the extent to which a conceited self-confidence, fueled by no historical achievements, can profit one in such circumstances.
Ha! We've been perfecting this same method for centuries. You'll have to do better than that.
Honestly, I imagine this standoff will be resolved through the completion of some sort of moderately juvenile, yet entertaining puzzle.
How can you be so sure?
Well, it's got us this far. Well, we could... Look! A three-headed monkey!
Where?
Quick, Sub-Lieutenant Jones, run!
Oh, man! How did I fall for that? But you're right. I am too trusting. Pardonnez-moi, I'm a sucker for the blue eyes.
What now, boyo?
Well, before we can legitimately lay claim to this new world, we need to remove their flag and hoist ours in its place.
Why?
Didn't they teach you history at school, Sub-Lieutenant Jones? That's just how these things work.
Step closer and I'll have you made into pate.
I don't want to mess up my spade. Yo-ho! I've brought a peace offering. A sample of delicious British dairy produce.
Do not insult my palate with your bland, insipid, rotten lactose. It pales in comparison to our superior, deliciously aged rotten lactose.
Well, that's diplomacy off the dining table. I can't use these two together. I intend to leave that sort of thing down Titchmarsh. I don't want to mess up my spade. Sub-Lieutenant Jones. Amuse yourself until I get back.
I'll try and recollect the last couple of hours.
It doesn't appear to be working. I don't want to mess up my spade. Ooh. Ay, bandito. I make no bones about how grim that was. Oh, what have we here? Either the upholstery's been woven from tinsel, or we've hit the jackpot. It's an elegant lady's purse, filled with loose change. If you want a job done around here, you've got to do it yourself. The box is sealed shut. Why, it would be impossible to determine the fate of any biological life form inside. The box is sealed shut. Property of Irvin Schrödinger. I can't use these two together. While I'm here, I may as well give it a go. These chaps are slippery customers. I can't get a grip of the little blighter. He's too slippery. These chaps are slippery customers. It has a warmth that you simply don't get with digital. Especially if you burn the sleeve as well. Preserved thanks to the tireless efforts of hipsters from all corners of Shoreditch. Gotcha! You know the old saying? A frog in the hand is worth two in the biological science testing facility. It would be very ostentatious for one to carry multiple amphibians simultaneously. There's no place like home. How convenient! The cheese sticks to his moist green flesh, thus progressing this ethically questionable puzzle.
I can't use these two together. I doubt combining these two will prove to be particularly useful. I'm sure there's a more practical use for this. If my moderately racist grandparents have taught me anything, it's that this should work.
What is this sorry excuse for it? Is that Swiss cheese? A slice of Emmental de Savoie with its attached right now. Qui êtes-vous? Une petite entrée as well?
Bien, les condiments, allez! Don't let him get away. Huzzah!
I hope the little fella's alright.
I wouldn't worry. I'm sure they won't harm him. They're not complete savages, just French. Right, well that's the first thing it'll have to go. Ah! It appears to be protected by some kind of high-tech electrical wizardry. I can't. I'm teetotal. Unbelievable. Seriously, I say, that's quite the collection of wine. It's out of reach. Surely this is a breach of health and safety. Gosh, listen to me. Next thing I'll be condoning morality. I can't get any closer to the control panel to shut it off. I can't get any closer to the control panel to shut it. This stuff is too thick. salvage something, like a spare wheel nut, or a fragment of dignity. Before its untimely passing, the Beagle 2-2 appears to have discovered a rock. It's not quite Tutankhamun's tomb, but I know it's unlocked, so technically that's like bringing us in. I can't reach it from here. I'll have to... How's that? Francis from, Well, that ought to do the trick. Let's take the opportunity while this is offline to do a spot of rebranding outside. Victory is ours, Sub-Lieutenant Jones. Now I know how Nelson felt at Trafalgar. Prior to being shot, of course. Although, I'm fairly certain I pulled something in my throwing arm earlier, so I can empathize. Quickly, Sub-Lieutenant Jones! We don't have long. Do you have our flag ready for hoisting?
Standard.
Yes. Is it ready to go?
Aye, boyo.
Right. Now make sure it's the right way round. Honestly, the number of people that make that mistake, it's just bad schooling if you ask me.
I think I hear someone coming. Will I hoist it now, boyo?
Steady, Jones. It isn't official unless we play the national anthem. Fortunately, I have it saved on this anodized aluminium portable music player.
Someone coming. Will I hoist it now, boyo?
Steady, Jones. It isn't official unless we play the national anthem. Fortunately, I have it saved on this anodized aluminium portable music player.
Allez, boyo.
Okay, I got it. Now. Ha! This land is hereby property of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth.
C'est bien.
Well, pardon?
Oh, excusez-moi. Your queen is welcome to this Baron Infernal Rock, Monsieur English. Je suis désolé. We have discovered a land so abundant and fertile that even the grapes we harvest will be so ripe and succulent that even you British, in spite of your primitive, insipid palate, will acknowledge the superiority of our fine French wine. Au revoir, Monsieur English. I think we'd better be heading on ourselves, boyo.
I concur, Sir Lieutenant Jones. It was delightful meeting you, chaps, eh? Arrivederci. Bourgogne Chardonnay, 2015. Good year.
Look, boyo, over there.
Why does it always rain in England?
Here stands the last defender of faded glory intact.